Everyone, this is the interview that you've wanted. I'm joined by the Factor in whatever lane he wants to be in. It's Fudge joining me here from Cloud9. Just played that last game with Team Liquid. It was a game of League of Legends.
It was a banger.
That one, a little bit more of a standard draft. No enchanters kind of running around ruining the game. Rakan showed up. Aatrox in the top lane. I love some Aatrox. You got to play some Aurelia.
I got to play some Aurelia,
yeah. But then Karthus. Karthus is the big pick there. Without giving too much away, what was the overall strat for that one?
I feel like Aurelia is a very strong pick in the mid lane right now.
Yeah.
Especially against all the mages. I think at level 6 with Karthus ult, I win like pretty much every fight.
Right.
I also think that's because they can't really fight. They always need their jungler to hover their mid laner to push out waves or their support. I think it allows Karthus to farm faster.
Yep.
So I basically just allow Karthus to be very useful in the game by having a lot of kill pressure, using his ult really well. In team fights, I use his ulti really well because I can kill their backline, stuff like that. So yeah, I like Aurelia with Karthus a lot.
So all that sounds great. What would you have changed from this game for next time?
I think that a lot of it honestly was mechanical. I do think our draft could have definitely been optimized. For example, Jhin I think is not very good. Aatrox I think on 5P could have been a better pick, but I think that a lot of our draft comes down to like me playing well mechanically, like top lane playing well mechanically, bot lane playing well mechanically, and obviously Blabber has to position very well. On Karthus, he has to understand how to play the comp. I mean, he has to understand where to position, he has to understand where to go, stuff like that. And I think we sort of made a lot of errors in that regard.
Yeah.
Mechanically, especially, I missed like a lot of ultis. Like at the end, for example, Blabber's ulti was like cancelled by Gragas, stuff like that. Although I think we probably would have lost anyway, but
yeah,
there was a lot of mechanical errors, I would say. So I think that's what led to us losing.
Well, it's been a hell of a week before that. Even the prep before it, having one of the rosters that was kind of like hidden. We had like 3 or 4 teams that didn't show their full roster. You guys get to show it last week, and everything goes swimmingly in terms of results, right? And it sends reverberations across not even just the LCS, but in the greater ecosystem. Did you feel any of those? Did you realize the impact that you guys had after week 1?
Yeah, I feel like everyone was very, very supportive on social media. I noticed like one of my tweets got like 20K likes. That's really rare. That's like my only tweet that got that many impressions was like after we got out of groups at Worlds.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty insane. A lot of hype around our team. I think it's probably just because of like the LS narratives, the Korean player narratives, Cloud9, stuff, everything. There's so many different narratives, so I feel like people are really interested. Also, we're playing really like different champions, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially like in the first week, we played pretty different champions in mid lane specifically. So people are very hyped to see all of that. And I could definitely feel that it felt like we were the most hyped team in week 1. Although like obviously like 100 Thieves I think played really, really well in week 1 as well. So it felt pretty good to win in week 1. However, I do think that in the games themselves, we watched them, it was pretty shaky. Honestly, we made a lot of mistakes, like similar mistakes honestly to today. Lots of small mistakes. The games were still pretty close, especially game 2 against EG was pretty close.
Yep.
I don't think that it was like we played really clean week 1 and then week 2 we like played like this. It's like I feel like our gameplay hasn't changed too much.
Yeah. Let's dive into the new culture that is being created here at Cloud9. Your teammates, right? You're returning with Blabber. And then you got a whole new cast of crew, right? And it's not only just the players in Winsome Summit and Berserker coming on in, it's also the staff that comes on in along with them to help adjust with everything. How's that kind of adjustment been like for you?
Honestly, it's not that different. I think it's just, I'm very comfortable with like the way our staff thinks.
Yeah.
As in I can talk to them very comfortably about the game. And understand what they're trying to say very well without sort of feeling any, I don't feel like what they say is unreasonable even if I disagree with it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty comfortable for me honestly, like in terms of who our staff is. Also the players I think are pretty like easygoing, and I actually think they adjusted really, really well to coming to America. They're like always trying to learn English. They're very, very like open-minded, I would say.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Yeah. I'm seeing the Twitter posts from both Berserker and Winsome, and I'm like, what is happening? It took 1 week for you to become like such a memer?
Yeah, they're very, very like fun to be around. So I'm pretty happy with how well we're adjusting, like, and I think how everyone else is coming into C9. And I think they've integrated pretty well, like with like what C9 does as an org.
Yeah.
And how we function. So I think it's going actually pretty well. However, I still think like obviously we have a lot of things that we can improve, right?
Sure. Sure. I mean, you're a team that's been together for a week and a half.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people forget that, and that's why the hype was really fun.
Yeah.
On Face Check, not gonna lie, the hype was really fun to be a part of, but I was also like, they are a week and a half in. Like, when things go bad, like, we can't have the same but equal impact on the opposite side. Like we can't be like that either. So
who knows, maybe you might. I haven't checked the Reddit threads yet.
Yeah, you're crazy. I wouldn't be able to do it.
I don't.
All right, good. There it is.
I don't check Reddit.
That's
threads.
right. If you do want to get to him, you just go to Twitter. Go to Twitter, tweet at him. You know he checks that. Don't go to Reddit.
I check
Don't go to Reddit.
Sometimes.
How is your role changing? Like, are you the leader of Cloud9 now?
I wouldn't say I'm the leader. I think Blabber is actually more of a leader. I would say he like tries to talk more, especially in game. Like I'm the type of person that sort of doesn't talk as much in comms.
Okay.
Especially last year, I was talking even less. I think because everyone else was very vocal.
Yeah.
I mean, and now obviously, I think Blabber is probably the main person that talks the most.
Yeah.
And then like Winsome, Summit, me, like have a decent share, and obviously like Berserk is just like saying what he thinks is like important in the moment, like mechanical team fights like that. But like outside of game, I wouldn't say it's changed too much. I still am trying to figure out ways that we can like function better in terms of like reviews, stuff like that, which is not really what I was involved in last year. Like I'm trying to like work with like the coaches on how they like help the players improve, like including myself, and like the way we review, the way we talk about like the game, the way we draft, stuff like that. I would say I'm much more involved in that than last year. But I still have to focus on stuff like my own lane matchups, a lot of like individual stuff, especially because I'm role swapping.
Yep.
So it's hard to juggle both. I would say where I'm like, because I've been here a year already and like I'm considered to be like a more like I know more about like C9 and what we should do, stuff like that. I'm supposed to be more of a leader in a way, but also I'm trying to learn a new role and like focus on myself, so it's kind of hard. But I think that Blab is doing a really, really good job of like leading the team.
I was always wondering that, and I think a lot of people always wonder how that dynamic works, both in game and out of game, as like a unit. And that was going to be my next question in terms of like, hey, how are these Mage matchups going? Like, when are we going to get one of those, bro?
I actually think I'm pretty comfortable on Mages compared to how like during lock-in, I would say I'm much worse. I was much worse at Mage matchups in general. I just don't think that opting into Mage matchups is the easiest way to win the games that we're playing, because I think that a lot of LCS mid laners are very comfortable with that, specifically Bjergsen and PoE, the people I'm playing against this weekend. And I don't think that opting into those Mage matchups will be like the easiest way to win, just because I understand that like they have played these matchups much more than me. It's very unlikely that I'll get leads on them in these matchups. But I do think if I play Aurelia, I'd be much more comfortable than they are. However, I still think that like it's not like they're bad at like Aurelia matchups or anything. It's just I think that I'm worse at control mages than Aurelia.
Sure.
Obviously.
How was this matchup against not just anyone's Corki? It was Bjergsen's Corki. How was that?
I think he played well. He played well around my timings. He gave CS when he needed to.
Yeah.
And he obviously, I think he's a player that's very good at knowing when to tell his teammates to come mid. He understands like what I need to do to win lane and what he needs to do to go even and outscale me, right? So I think he played pretty well. And obviously like Corki is a champion that you can't do too much with until you get to those items. So it's like I don't think he like played insanely well in early game, because there's not really much he can do in early game, right? So it was sort of just like a scale, wait till late game, and I think he didn't make too many mistakes, which is how he's supposed to play. So.
To close it out here, what do you have to say to the fans? The first loss here, the first setback at the church. It is Saturday, so there's a little bit to work with there.
It is Saturday.
You can say that to that camera there.
We didn't play too well today. You will flame us on social media. That is fine. We deserve to be flamed for bad gameplay. But we'll play better next time. We will play better next time.
I feel like you just literally went through all the different options of what to say, and you picked like the tamest one. All right, Fudge.
We will shit on the Immortals tomorrow.
Yeah! I can't believe you said that. All right, that's Fudge. You obviously know him, love him. You'll see him every weekend here at the LCS. You can catch more content on dGon Esports. Thanks again, brother. Appreciate it.
Cheers, bro.